Hello everyone, this is Suzanne. I am going to do a quick little review on what we've been studying so far in Ephesians. And we are in chapter 6 and we're going to focus on that. And we're just going to do a quick little overview. I found this in my Life Application Study Bible, NIV. And we're just going to do a quick review and then we're going to right like that, I'm going to go into our lesson. All right, here we go. We're going to review the belt of truth and the breastplate of righteousness and the foot gear. All right, we studied about the belt of truth. Satan fights with lies, and sometimes his lies sound like truth. But only believers have God's truth, which can defeat Satan's lies. So we have the belt of truth. Very important. Breastplate of righteousness. Satan often attacks our hearts, the seat of our emotions, self-worth, and trust. God's righteousness is the breastplate that protects our hearts and ensures his approval. He approves of us because he loves us and sent his son to die for us. And the foot gear, which we're going to focus in on today, readiness to spread the good news. Satan wants us to think that telling others the good news is a worthless and hopeless task. The size of the task is too big, and the negative responses are too much for us to handle. But the foot gear of God gives us the motivation to continue to proclaim the true peace that is available in God, news everyone needs to hear. Everyone needs to hear. Foot gear God gives us is a motivation to continue to proclaim the true peace that is available in God. Good news. All right, that's our little review. I might go over a little bit of this some more in my video, so hang on. Here we go. Hello everyone, this is Suzanne at God Crochet and Chatter. Surprise, I'm back. It's been a rough few days with my knees. I've been sleeping till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think on last Thursday I slept till 4 in the afternoon. What happens is at nighttime my knees get hurting so bad and I wake up several times, and therefore I'm very sleepy, and sometimes I take a muscle relaxant and a pain pill, usually around 8-9 o'clock. And then, of course, that helps me relax and I can get some more sleep. So my days are really messed up, but I'm getting through them the best I can. Today, we are in the book of Ephesians, and we are studying chapter 6, and we are focusing on the armor of God. We've already done the belt of truth. That is the word of God. The belt of truth holds everything else together. We studied about the breastplate of righteousness. Christ's righteousness. We know right from wrong. Even though we're not perfect and we sin and we stumble, doesn't mean that we don't know right from wrong. And we can righteously call out on those things saying, that's not right. That's not judging. Judging is not a bad thing. We judge according to the word. What God has said in his word. God has already passed his judgment. He says this is wrong. He says this is right. And we have to act accordingly. I don't like it when people say, oh, you can't judge me. You haven't walked in my feet. No, I haven't walked in your feet, but I can tell you this drunken path you're on is evil. It's sinful. This gay trip you're on is not right. In fact, in the Bible, it lists several things that are an abomination to the Lord. So don't take it up with me. Take it up with God. You won't get very far because God's not going to change his mind on those things. So today we're going to be discussing the gospel of peace. We're going to have our feet shod with the gospel of peace. And we're going to talk about what that means. Now, I found a great study. This was by Jonathan Srock, SCOCK. I put the link in the drop-down box below if you want to check them out. This particular website, or they do devotional sermons, a lot of good things, and they wrote really good stuff on the armor of God. And today we're going to talk about the 5 powers of the shoes of the gospel of peace. So let's get started. But before we get started, I do want to take a minute. I got a beautiful Christmas card from Wendy. It says, Merry Christmas, dear Suzanne, Ron, and family, and a Happy New Year. Enjoy the season, love in Christ, Wednesday. And she gave me 2 Psalms, Psalms 46 and Psalms 121, which I am going to be looking those up a little bit later today. I'm anxious to see what those say. And look at this beautiful card. We used to own a truck very similar to this. And now my daughter has it, and brought back a lot of good memories for my husband and I. So thank you for that. And also, I received a card from Rebecca, a.k.a. Crochet Me This. She's been on the channel for a long time, as well as Wendy, and like Dorothy and Joanne and Theory. Many of you are very near and dear to me. And look at this. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. All right. Beautiful card. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I tried to get out a few cards, as many as I had addresses for anyway. So let's get on with our lesson, shall we? 5 powers of the shoes of the gospel of peace. All right, number 1, stand firm. 4 times in 3 verses, the Bible commands us to stand firm against the enemy. Ephesians 6:11, 13, and 14. Ephesians 6:11 says, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. 13. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. And 14. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And above all, take the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. We will be studying the shield of faith, and the helmet of salvation will be coming up next. All right, stand firm. We stand firm against the enemy by wearing the shoes of the readiness of the gospel of peace. The Roman soldiers' boots were an amazing piece of military hardware. They were made of leather with metal studs on the bottom. They provided a firmer grip on the ground and allowed the soldiers to brace against their enemies. Sounds similar to football players that have the cleats so that they can dig in and stand firm and keep the other team at bay. Well, our shoes, our feet shod with the gospel of peace, we're going to dig in firm. We're going to stand firm. The Roman armies did not give up ground with this kind of footwear. Paul talks about standing firm because of the firm grip these shoes provided the Roman soldier. With metal studs on the bottom, they were like cleats for our athletes today. The soldier could have a firm stance and not be pushed around. The gospel of peace helps us stand firm against the enemies of God. And when we move forward and take steps toward the enemy, the ground we gain will not easily be given up. As we advance the gospel of peace, the enemy cannot stop us. Every step we take is secure and firm. Paul commands Christians to stand firm in the battle with the enemy because they have the strength and security to stand. But they must have the will to use these powerful shoes. We wear all kinds of shoes, don't we? Diabetic shoes, shoes for fallen arches, and but the most powerful shoes are the ones that stand firm with the gospel of peace. Be ready for action, number 2. Roman soldiers were always ready for battle because of their footwear. They were able to march for long periods of time, covering more ground and move swiftly. But when they got into the battlefield, they were ready to spring into action. This is why Paul talks about the readiness for the gospel of peace by referencing Roman soldiers' boots. We must be prepared for the battle. We must be alert because the enemy prowls like a roaring lion ready to pounce. Every Christian must be ready to share the gospel at a moment's notice. Can you do that? I can. I'm sure you can too. It is the most powerful weapon we have, for we overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. The word of our testimony. No one can take that away from you. Think often back to your testimony, why you became a Christian, why you decided that Jesus was the way, the only way. I mean, wow. I know what the Lord brought me up out of, and I'm so thankful. When we speak the gospel, it brings revelation and truth to everyone who hears it. Be prepared, not only knowing how to share the gospel, but what must be included in the gospel message, but also your testimony. The enemy cannot refute your story of how you met Jesus and what he has done for you. Like I just mentioned, no one can take my testimony away from me, because I remember standing in front of that fireplace over 30 years ago and thinking, what am I doing with my life? Is this all there is? What example am I being for my children? I was living with a guy at the time, and it just came over me. And I remember prior to that, my sister-in-law had moved in with me. We had both divorced our husbands, of course, and her boyfriend came over one night, and I had a Bible. And we talked a little bit about this mysterious book, and we said, wow, I can't understand any of this. Can you? No. And yeah, her boyfriend spoke up and said, yeah, have you like read Revelation at all? The 4 beasts and all this stuff? It scared me to death. And so the Bible was quietly tucked back away for probably 2 more years before the Lord tugged at my heart once again, and I gave my life over to Christ. Things are only scary that you don't understand. So it's important for us to read the Bible, study the Bible, and understand it. Then we can convey that message and what Christ has done for us to others. Number 3, we must spread the gospel. Many scholars believe Paul is hinting at Isaiah 52:7, which tells us that the feet of those who bring good news are beautiful. The shoes for the readiness of the gospel of peace are an offensive weapon because they move forward, taking ground from the enemy. With these shoes, we advance the gospel. Jesus gave us the Great Commission to go into all the world and preach the gospel. The shoes protect the soldier as he or she advances, but they are not for advancing the gospel and taking ground from the enemy. When Jesus tells us to go into all the world, the command is actually to make disciples of the nations. It is better understood that as we go wherever we are going, we make disciples. How do we make disciples? By baptizing and teaching them. That's critical. It doesn't stop at baptism. If that's all you ever knew about the Lord was how to come to him, hear, believe, repent, confess, and be baptized, and you stopped right there, it's not going to go well for you. We have to also teach them and let them know this is the very beginning of your journey with Jesus. Now you have to know what his commandments are, how much he loves us, what we are doing here, how we are to live, things that we are to stay away from. Very, very important. As we spread the gospel everywhere we go, we spread the light of Jesus to those who are captive in darkness. The fight has the darkness and evil spiritual forces on the defensive. They cannot penetrate or destroy the light. Light overcomes darkness. You don't need to be afraid when you spread the gospel. Even if you are persecuted for your faith, people cannot refute what you have to say. They really can't. Oh, they do, and they twist the scriptures to their destruction, and hopefully to our destruction. They just will do all manner of things to say facts aren't facts. How much is that going on today? No, that's not true. Yeah, it is. The sky is blue. No, it's not. It's green. No, I don't care how much you say it's green. It's blue, honey. You know, it's just, you're not thinking right. Something's not clear here. And the truth will always win out. And even if we're put to death for our belief because we're not being tolerable, we are hateful because we say this is wrong or that is wrong and you shouldn't be doing this. And people don't like that. They want to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and you butt out. Well, as Christians, we can't do that, can we? The saddest thing is for Christians is to stand back and not say anything. We have to stand for something or we'll fall for everything. 4, declare the good news. What is the good news? That Jesus has come to set the captives free from sin and give him access to him. The central message of the gospel is people are sinful and they need a savior. Jesus came to be that savior. When their eyes are open to this good news, they can become part of God's family. They accept the truth about themselves. Remember in the Bible where it says to transform your mind daily to see if these things are true? To, as a Berean, search the scriptures daily. Once your eyes are open to the truth of the gospel of Christ, wow, they confess their sins and they ask Jesus for forgiveness. They have peace with God and he transforms them into children of light. You don't have to have a 3-point sermon or a sermon at all. Most people declare the good news by living a holy life. If you run across people and you just know there's something different about them. Remember the movie Fireproof? And Kirk Cameron was in it. And he went through the, I think, 30-day dare that his dad gave him. And he just did all these things. And his wife kept rejecting him. But at the end of the movie, when she had thought somebody else had paid for this medical equipment for her mom, that she found out it was her husband. So she goes to the firehouse, and he comes out, and she says, what a fool I've been. And she says, I want what you have. Whatever it is that made you do all those things, I want that too. And they reconciled. It was a beautiful, beautiful picture. Spoiler alert, I should have said that. But anyway, people are watching. And what is that in you that allows you to forgive like that? Or prompts you to buy groceries for someone? Or go sit with the sick? I watch you. And I don't ever hear you swearing. I don't ever see you smoking or drinking. Why? What is that all about? No better testimony than the one that we present to people. And number 5, bring peace to battle. Battles are about violence and chaos. But the shoes for the readiness of the gospel of peace bring peace to the battlefield. Peace in the Bible isn't always about stopping hostility. We carry the good news of the peace of God to those in need. Jesus calls us blessed because we are his peacemakers. The world is used to war. They are used to chaos and violence. But they are not prepared for soldiers who bring peace. The ability to bring peace, the good news of reconciliation with God to those in need, is a powerful mission. You are a different kind of soldier. While you fight the enemy with spiritual weapons, he cannot bring peace. He cannot bring peace. Only these shoes can take peace to people who are God's enemies by default. Paul has described how Jesus made peace between two warring factions in his day, the Jew and Gentiles. As spiritual soldiers, we carry this message of peace to everyone who is not an enemy of God. They have the opportunity to have peace with God and be reconciled to Him. No other faction on the battlefield has the ability or message. Now, God can bring peace to the Jews and Gentiles. Remember when the gospel was open to the Gentiles and the Jews didn't take too kindly to that? And they had to grow yet again. And the gospel was opened up to Jew and Gentile. We are all the same, made in God's image. We may be different backgrounds, different colors, different cultures, but we are God's children. And there is none that are denied if they come to Christ. And we have to take the belt of truth with us, which is the Word of God. We have to take the breastplate of righteousness, tell people the right and wrong of things, and we can judge in that way that we know right from wrong, and we need that breastplate of righteousness to cry out against things that are wrong. And then the gospel of peace. Tell your story. Tell how you came to Christ. Give your testimony. And this is what is going to draw people. And I am thankful for the armor of God. I am really enjoying this study. The next piece we're going to study is the shield of faith. Now that's going to be interesting. They all are interesting, aren't they? But I wanted to come on today and do a video. And let's see, tomorrow I have blood work drawn. And I think the next day I have to, tomorrow I'm getting an injection in my left knee. Not looking forward to that. And then on Wednesday I do my blood work for surgery. And then beginning of next week I have to go and have a clearance from my doctor. So there's a lot of things I'm doing. I've already gotten my glider, knee glider. I've gotten an ice wrap for my knee. I've gotten a step stool for by my bed. I ordered a bike peddler, put it on the floor. I didn't know there were so many things that you had to gather up. I got a walker. The insurance paid for that. I have to pick that up tomorrow. So I'm just taking one day at a time. And if I don't come on for some reason for a couple of days or whatever, it's usually because I'm dealing and trying just to handle the pain and I'm tired. It's very exhausting when you're in pain all the time. And I try to study and get my mind off of the pain. That helps. But I know all of you are praying for me. My daughter's going to come over this month, I think on the 13th maybe. I forgot what date it is, but we're going to do the Christmas baking together and just trying to stay positive. And then we got Christmas. There's a lot of things going on. But, as long as we take one day at a time, we don't look at the whole big mountain at once, you won't become overwhelmed. Stay in the day. Mark on your calendar what's coming up the next day. I do that before I go to bed. Okay, that's going on. I got the paperwork out. I got this out. I'm good. I don't have to worry about it. I got all my dates on my calendar, things I have to do. I'll face it as each day comes. That's what will get me through. And it will get you through too. Don't think 3 or 4 days out because it will drive you absolutely crazy when there's so much going on. All right, everyone. This is Suzanne at God Crochet and Chatter. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you're getting ready for Christmas. Such a wonderful time of year. You're going to spend it with family and loved ones. Everybody's just a little bit nicer this time of year. All right, everyone. Lord willing, I'll be back on Wednesday with the Shield of Faith. Now, if I'm not on, I'll push that to Friday. And I was thinking when we get done with this, I'm going to do devotions for the rest of the month. And then in January, I can start Revelation. And then we'll see after I have my leg surgery, my knee replacement surgery on 13th. I hear the first week is going to be pretty rough, so we'll just kind of play it by ear. But I'm going to be here, and I will be giving you updates all the way. All right, everyone, take care. Lord willing, I'll be back on Wednesday. Bye-bye.